You ever walk away from a chat and think, what did we even talk about? We've all been there, right? Conversations that just float on the surface. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're going to learn a technique that can turn that kind of shallow small talk into real, genuine understanding.
It usually starts with something just like this, a statement that's totally true, but also completely unhelpful. It's like a conversational brick wall. Your friend has given you the headline, but there's no story attached.
So, yeah, what do you say next? Really think about it. Whatever you say in this moment will either open the door to a real conversation or slam it shut. And most of us, without even thinking about it, we end up choosing to close that door. Okay, so let's look at the usual response. That sucks. Want to get pizza? I mean, it's sympathetic, sure, but it basically ends the conversation right there. It treats the problem like a simple fact, not a story to be told. The better way, well, it isn't about giving advice. It's about asking the right kind of question. This is what we're really up against. I call it the everything's fine problem. You know, people talk in shortcuts all the time. It was fine. Things are complicated. It is what it is. These phrases are actually invitations to dig a little deeper, but we almost always treat them like the end of the story. The solution? It's using what are called probing questions. And I want you to focus on that phrase right there, surgical tools. That's what makes this so powerful. These aren't just random follow-ups. Nope. They are super precise instruments designed to cut right through all that fog and get to what actually matters. And here's the best part. This whole surgical kit, it only has 4 main tools. That's it. And once you learn what they are, you're going to start seeing chances to use them absolutely everywhere. Okay, so this table right here, this is your new mental map. First up, you've got clarification questions. These turn fuzzy words like rough or impossible into actual concrete facts. Second, purpose questions. These take you from what happened to why it happened. Third, you have accuracy. This is for when a story just doesn't quite add up, and it helps you connect the dots. And finally, evaluation. This helps you get behind a judgment, like when someone says it was a bad idea, to figure out the criteria they're using. Now look, having the tools is one thing, but using them in the right order, that's a whole other ballgame. And that's where the funnel technique comes in. It's basically a strategy for sequencing your questions so you can either zoom in on the tiny details or zoom out to see the big picture. So which way do you point the funnel? Well, it depends. The classic funnel starts really broad and then narrows down. That's perfect for when you've got time and the person already trusts you. But the reverse funnel, it does the exact opposite. It starts with simple, specific questions to build comfort before you go broad. This is your go-to move when someone seems a little shy or maybe a bit defensive. Let's see how this works with the classic funnel. You start super broad. How was your trip? They give you a little hook, like the last day was a total nightmare. So you probe for clarification. What happened? Then, for purpose. Why was it such a close call? And finally, you get to a really specific, narrow question that confirms the key detail. See how we just went from a general feeling to this vivid image of them sprinting through an airport?
All right, now let's flip it with the reverse funnel. Imagine you're meeting a shy new neighbor. You don't just start with, "So, tell me your entire life story." No way. You start small with easy, low-stakes questions. Did you just move in this week? First time in this city? Each yes you get builds a little bit of momentum and makes them feel more comfortable until you can finally ask a much bigger, more meaningful question. You're basically building a ladder of trust, one easy step at a time.
Okay, you ready? We have our tools, we have our technique, so let's rewind. We're going back to our friend who had that rough day at work, but this time, no pizza. Let's watch how a much better conversation can unfold. And there it is, the first move. Instead of just agreeing, friend B uses a clarification probe. Notice how it zeroes in on that one vague, super emotional word, impossible. This question politely says, hey, I need the specifics. And boom, just like that, we have a concrete action. We've gone from a vague feeling, impossible, to a specific event. The mystery is starting to clear up. The conversation is now about something real. Okay, now we go to the next level. Friend B uses a purpose probe. We already know what happened, but now we're asking why it happened. This is so smart because it shifts the whole perspective from just complaining about the boss to actually trying to figure out his motivation. Wow, what a fascinating answer, right? This one question completely reframes the situation. Suddenly, the boss isn't just some villain, he's also a guy who's under pressure. This adds a layer of empathy and complexity that was just totally missing before. And for the final move, friend B uses an evaluation probe. This is just brilliant. It moves the conversation from diagnosing the problem to actually imagining a solution. It empowers friend A to start thinking about what they want, not just what's making them mad.
And this is the payoff. Friend B actually gets it now. The real issue wasn't just a rough day, it was a breach of trust. And maybe even more importantly, friend A, just by answering these questions, has cleared up their own thoughts and feels truly, deeply heard. That's the magic of this.
So you're probably thinking, this is cool, but how do I start using this like right now? Let's put together your personal toolkit so you can walk away from this and have a better conversation tonight.
Here are 4 key things to just keep in your back pocket. First, remember, this is about being curious, not conducting an interrogation. It's a gift of your attention. Second, keep that funnel idea in your head. Go wide with people you trust, start narrow with new folks. Third, anytime you hear vague language, that's your cue. It's an invitation to probe. And fourth, yeah, it might feel a little awkward at first, but practice will make it second nature.
Okay, here's a question you can literally use at work tomorrow. Instead of just nodding when someone says the project is behind schedule, ask this. It demands a concrete answer and turns that vague anxiety into a specific problem you can actually solve. Ooh, this one. This one can really change family dynamics. Instead of trying to guess why someone's upset or what you did wrong, this question respectfully asks for an observable fact. It helps you focus on the cause, not just the drama. And this one, well, this is pretty much the gold standard for relationships. It gently points out that their words don't match their body language. It basically says, hey, I see you, I'm really paying attention, and it's safe to tell me the truth.
So here's the bottom line. Better conversations, they don't happen by accident. They happen because someone decides to ask better questions. You now have the tools, you have the techniques. So the only thing left to figure out is, which conversation are you going to change first?